The Sofabaton X1S is Sofabaton's answer to the now discontinued Logitech Harmony line of remotes. In this video, I'm gonna do an unboxing. I'm gonna do a setup. I've never set up a Sofabaton remote before. It's been years since I've set up any type of universal remote. I typically don't use them. So yeah, we're gonna unbox this thing. Sofabaton, thank you so much for sending this out. I really appreciate it. Again, this is not a sponsored video. They didn't pay me anything. They didn't give me this. I will be throwing up the paid promotion tag just to cover all bases. I will say real quick, the retail price for this guy is around $230, but you can normally find it for under $200. I think right now on Sofabaton's website, it's $189.99. which is a nice little discount. However, if you use the code BRADHTG at checkout, you'll save an additional 20%, bringing this remote down to around $150 at the time of this recording. So that's a nice chunk of savings. So if you're on the fence about this, you're watching this video, you decided to pick one up, links will be in the description and a pinned comment below. Appreciate the support from you guys. So yeah, let's get this thing unboxed. I don't want to waste any more time. So yeah, let's just go ahead and take this little plasticky stuff off. Plasticky. Got you off here. All right, so right out of the gate here, we have a manual. We can take the remote out here, kind of take a look at it here. We got a little peely guy here. Let me try to get up close so you can see when I take it off. Yes, you probably couldn't hear that. So yeah, if we take a look at the actual remote itself, try to center it here, it feels incredibly sturdy. It's got a rechargeable battery, I believe. So you have a USB-C port right down here. I believe there's a cable in the box, but we'll go over that in a second. There is no user replaceable battery, so that may be an issue depending on how long the battery actually lasts. Not in terms of like how long it lasts, you know, just standing by, but the actual like longevity of the battery, the age of the battery. So hopefully it'll last a really long time. But yeah, we got a nice little kind of clicky wheel. Oh, it even comes pre-charged. Look at this. Hopefully the camera will focus. We got a nice little charge on the battery there, so we may not even need to charge it up. So it has like a little basic setting guide here, nothing on the back. So I'll go ahead and rip this open here. I just have no grace with this stuff sometimes. I can't just open it. Like it's gonna get ripped. It's gonna happen. PC parts are the same way. Yeah. So this is the Sofabaton Smart Hub itself. This is where the remote connects to, and it kind of pushes everything through that there. We do have some keyhole mounts, I believe they're called. So basically you can mount this on the wall if you need to. On the back, you have what looks like an on-off switch, as well as a USB-C port, and then two ports here for what I believe are the IR blasters. So here you get a couple sets of IR blasters. So this is just the single on one side, and then on the back, it's just a standard connector like this. And then if we take a look at the hub, we could just connect it right here. I believe, yeah, just like so. But we also get another one. This one seems to have two on the end. I didn't point it out on the other one. Each one has a little 3M adhesive tape on the back. So you peel that off. You could stick them anywhere you want. It's not extremely lengthy. I probably would have liked a slightly longer one. A slightly longer cord. Overall, I think that these should work for most people. I think most folks, even if you have a media rack in the back, you may end up running the Smart Hub near the front of the room or to the side of the room. So it might not be a big deal, but it's something that you may want to be aware of. You do get a couple of USB-C cables here, Smart Hub connection here on one end, and then just a USB type A connection on the other. You do get one of these guys. So this is basically for the Smart Hub. So we basically have two of the same cables here, USB-C on one end, USB-A on the other. So you do have a cable for charging the remote. I believe these are around 3 feet. Like that. Yeah, it seems about right. You're not gonna be able to see any of this on the, I don't even know why I'm taking it out. I'm making a mess here. There's no way to not make a mess when you're unboxing something. So what I want to do now is basically take this stuff over to the theater room. We'll get it set up. I'll bring you guys along. I'm curious to see how easy the setup goes. If we can use a laptop, I do know we can use our phone to do that too. Hopefully it should be fairly straightforward. Let's go over to the theater room and get it all set up. All right, guys, I'm in the theater room now, and I looked at the manual. So the Smart Hub, Sofabaton recommends placing it kind of out in the open somewhere, not necessarily in direct line of sight with your components, which is great, but we could probably be okay just by putting it back here, which is where I'm gonna try it first. We may not even need the IR repeaters. So if we do, like if we're running into issues, I might try just moving this up here first before I use the IR repeaters, because apparently this thing has a pretty powerful IR blaster. It's supposed to bounce things around on the walls and then back here. So we're gonna see how that works. But I already have it plugged in here, so I'm gonna plug this guy up in here. Also, a small correction. When I unboxed it, I called the button back here like a power button. It's actually just a pairing button. So we'll use that in a bit to pair it with our app. So I'm just gonna plug it in here, put it back here. I'm not gonna wire manage it right now because I may need to move it around a little bit, or maybe do some IR repeaters. I'm not sure, but that's plugged in. So we're gonna jump over now to setting it up and getting it connected through the app. All right, so now we're ready to connect the Smart Hub to basically Sofabaton's app. Now to do that, I originally thought maybe it would be cool if we could use a laptop or PC even, but unfortunately it doesn't look like you can do that at all. You have to basically use a smartphone of some sort, maybe a tablet, just depends what you have, that you basically download the Sofabaton app. You need to create an account and everything, and then we'll connect our app to the Smart Hub and then the Smart Hub to our Wi-Fi, and then we'll kind of add everything through there. What's nice is everything in the manual, kind of overexposed there, is explained pretty well. They even include little QR codes to download the app. So that's what we're actually going to do right now. I'm just going to open up my camera and we'll do this. There we go. Bam. So now we'll go to the App Store. It's going to ask me to download it. I will do that. All right, so we're going to open up the Sofabaton app. I'm going to click Allow Notifications. So we'll see here. We don't have an account, so we're just going to go ahead and register for one. I'm going to do Brad at Home Theater Gamer. I'm going to input a password, put the same password again, and we'll click on Register. So it will send you a code to your email, kind of par for the course these days. So I'll open up my email, go to my Home Theater Gamer email, and there it is. I'm gonna blur out the code here. Not that it really matters. Verify, we're good. So now it's going to ask us to select our device. So I have the X series. It is a new hub, so we're just gonna go to Setup New Hub. It's gonna ask us to connect the hub to a power outlet, which we've done. So on the back, we are going to press and hold the pairing button until it starts blinking on the front. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So I see it's blinking there. You can press the little thing on the app here. We'll click Next. It's gonna ask you if you'd like to use Bluetooth. We'll click Allow. All right, and it found the hub there. So we're gonna connect it via that. And then I'm gonna do Hill Valley Mesh. And when it's done, just click on Next. Select the desired hub on your local network. Here we go. Okay, so now we're on the devices page. And really quick, I thought I would just show you all the remotes that I'm attempting to replace with this one. So we have our LG C1 OLED remote, our Denon X6300H remote, the NVIDIA Shield TV Pro remote, the Apple TV 4K remote, the LG UHD Blu-ray player remote. I can't remember the model number of the Blu-ray player, but yeah, so we have 5 remotes here that we're basically trying to combine down to one. So we're gonna see how this works. I'm kind of excited about this. Now that we're ready, let's add some devices. So I'm gonna start with the display. And I know that the LG C1 OLED is infrared. So we're gonna search in the database. And right here it has a list of brands, very cool. We could select our model number, and I know, I'm just gonna type in C1, the LG OLED 77C1 pub. So I'm gonna click Next, name it LG C1. So it'll download the code base. All of this stuff is pretty much automated, which is great. You don't have to worry about too much. You just kind of let it do its thing. We'll add each device. We'll actually just go by remote. So there's our LG C1 OLED. Next, we'll do our Denon after it gets done here. All right, so the device has been added to the hub. So we'll click on complete. It'll say not configured. So let's go ahead and go in and see what's going on here. So it says up at the top, before creating an activity, you need to complete the device's power settings and source configuration. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna click on the power settings, and it's gonna say Basically, we're going to go through this one by one. So what state should the current device be in when switching to an activity that doesn't include it? Basically, turn off when not in use. So if we're in here, we're going to use it, right? So basically, if we're not using it, then we're going to turn it off when not in use. Even if I set up an activity that's basically just listen to music over Spotify or whatnot, I'm probably not going to have the TV on. I am going to click on next and then power command settings. How does your original remote control handle turning the device on and off? It only has one power button right up top. So only a power key, same action. So confirm or modify the default commands and operations for turning on off the device. So here I believe is where you can set a kind of a timer or a delay. So like when you press power, it'll delay the device turning on. So that actually may be useful because normally what I like to do is I'll turn the TV on, then I'll turn the receiver on like maybe a second later. So that way it has time to do the handshake. I don't like them turning on at the same time. So here we can test it. Does the device respond correctly to power commands? Let's see. It doesn't look like it did. Okay, so I had to go in, and that's maybe something I did, or maybe I'm not sure. You noticed there is a couple different options here: power, power off, power on. There's only a single power button on the remote here. So it's like right there, it's the red one there. So I switch it over to just power, and now I click on test. Yep, it's powered on. So I'm gonna click on complete, and now we'll go into our source configuration. So basically this is going to tell the Sofabaton, do I need to switch inputs? This is gonna go by per activity. All right, so we'll go to source configuration. So basically it says source configuration requires entering the device's built-in options or input options for automatic input switching when opening an activity. So I need to switch an input. So we'll go to configure. So it's gonna ask me, do I have separate inputs for each, or separate buttons for each input? I do not. I normally bring up the navigation menu. Switching mode is basically input toggling. So I press it, it'll bring up, and then I could select the proper input there. Switch commands, the following information refers to the keys of the original remote control. Select the key to switch to the next source, which would be the input key. If I want to do HDMI 1, we'll hit confirm. Now we can go through and label these what we want to label them. So now we'll just label this input list, confirm HDMI 1. Label this PS5, and then this is our PC. All right, so source configuration is complete. So now we can move on to adding other devices, which you can kind of get the gist of what I just did here, because it's already going to be a super long video. I'm going to add the other devices off camera, and then I'll return. I'll show you all the devices, and then we'll set up activities. All right, so we are back. I got everything on the app. I set up everything. There's a couple of things. The PlayStation 5, I just can't get to work, and I think it's not the app or me, it's just the PlayStation. I think that this device maybe doesn't support the PlayStation. I'll have to do some further digging for the full review and see if I can get that to work. But I added everything here, as you can see on the list. And so now it's time to set up activities. So on the bottom, we have activities over here. So now we just need to add one. And so there are a few things here that they suggest. So watch NVIDIA Shield. So right off the bat, I mean, that's kind of, other than playing a PC game, that's kind of the main thing that my wife and I do in here is we use the Shield to watch all of our movies if we're not using the Blu-ray player. So I'm gonna go ahead and click next. I'm gonna select an input on the TV here. So select source, HDMI 1. The Denon is going to be the Shield TV. There's no need to switch the Shield on or the switch to the input. So everything currently is off. So now we have to assign a voice button. So select the device you want the remote volume buttons to control. So basically we wanna select the Denon, which is perfect there, all right. Which device should the other remote control buttons control besides volume? So all of these other things down here, we want to do the NVIDIA Shield. Perfect. All right, so complete. And so on here, you can actually see that it is syncing it as we speak. So while it's doing that, we are going to add another activity. We can also customize it, so we'll do that a little later, but I'm gonna do watch Apple TV next. Same deal, we'll select the input, which I know is input 1, HDMI 1. This is right here. I did go through and label all of these, so it's just easier. So I'm gonna click next. all the power states are currently off. Again, it's going to go through, ask us the same thing. We're going to select the Denon there, and then we will select the Apple TV there. And we can also customize this if we want to, but we're just going to hit complete. We're going to let it create these activities, and I'm going to go through one by one. So I'm going to add another activity. The other thing we do is we watch the Blu-ray player. So we're going to select the input there, same input, and then the selection there for the Denon is the UHD Blu-ray. Click on next, everything is off. It's gonna ask us the same thing again. The Denon is fine, and then the UHD Blu-ray player is fine there as well. So we'll hit complete. So I think actually labeling everything in here really helped with setting everything up. I didn't add my PC. I may just add it to have that device, or I might be able to customize it. So we'll click customize. We'll do LG C1 and the Denon. Next. We'll select an input on the LG C1, so PC, and then an input for the TV audio. Next, off, next, what's up there? Yep, that's good. And we'll play PC. Then we can click on edit. I typically want to move this, move it up, yeah. There we go. So that's kind of going in order of what we typically do. So I'm normally playing a PC game or on the NVIDIA Shield, or watching the UHD player. I typically don't use Apple TV to play this stuff. So everything's set up. Let's test it out. All right, so I have everything programmed here. I know this is kind of a weird angle. I'm gonna be using the remote itself. So you can use the app on the phone, but since everything is already in, everything is synced to the remote. You see I have all of my my play things here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So basically I have play PC, watch NVIDIA Shield, watch LG UHD player. So I'm just gonna start at NVIDIA Shield. So basically I'm not even gonna point at anything because this is supposed to go over Wi-Fi. So it should turn everything on. TV on, receiver on, Shield on. We're gonna see the Shield TV pop up on the receiver. We're on HDMI 1 on the TV, and now we should have the Shield pop up. I hope you can see that there. Perfect. So now I can just go into Plex. I can do my thing there, how I want to do that. So if I can go to more, I can go down to my TV shows that I may want to watch. We have like Stargate Atlantis, so I'm going to select this, and then, or SG1, and I'll just play. Don't want to get flagged for copyright here, so I'm not going to let it really play the audio. But I can mute it. But then also if I want to adjust the volume on the receiver, I can do that. I'm doing it right from the remote here. So great. And what I like too is I can just hit this button, which will activate or deactivate the AI enhanced stuff. So this is all through the NVIDIA Shield. Super cool. I'm gonna go back here and we'll just go back to home here. So we'll get out of Plex and everything. And then we'll go down to watch apps. So this is something I normally use. So this is the apps on the TV to watch like YouTube and stuff. So I'll hit that. It'll turn everything off. I have set a delay to like maybe 4 or 5 seconds, just because if I'm turning this on from the off position, like nothing is on, the TV needs about 4 to 5 seconds to kind of boot up and get ready, and then it will accept input changes. Otherwise, it's just gonna get stuck on the input. So now I can go over and basically go over to YouTube if I want to, select that, and then now we're basically got everything going here. I can select whatever I want, hit the home button, go back there. Okay, I'm done with that. Now I wanna go watch a Blu-ray. So I'm gonna go up to select the Blu-ray here, and then I'm just gonna click OK. And so then it's basically gonna switch over to the Blu-ray and everything. It's gonna swap inputs and turn the Blu-ray player on, which it did, and now we're ready to go. So everything is pretty much on here. The only things I don't have are, let's see, Xbox Series X or PS5. I can switch over to those. It will turn the Series X on. I don't have the Series X plugged up right now. And then Play PC, obviously, it's just gonna switch over to the TV audio input, and then it's gonna switch over. Normally takes about 4 to 5 seconds to switch over to the PC input, because again, I have that delay. But everything is great. The PC needs to be turned on manually, obviously. But then if I want to turn everything off, I just hit off. Everything's off. Everything's done. Perfect. Awesome. All right, there you have it. It's everything set up, ready to go. I'm excited to start using this. I'm gonna give myself about a week with it before I do a full review, just to see if there's any quirks or issues. I will say during setup, There were some minor hiccups and flubs here and there, and I don't know honestly if it's the Sofabaton app or my Wi-Fi connection, because sometimes it can be a little spotty occasionally. But there were times where I just couldn't get something to work. I'll kind of look and see if that's on me or if that's part of the issues, but I just wanted to mention it. Like if you have Wi-Fi issues in your house, that may be cause some interference or issues with controlling this. However, the overall process of setting everything up is really simple. The app works really well. It's pretty intuitive, pretty snappy. I like that you can go in and add delays to your stuff because if you depending on what you're using, you may need to delay the switching of a source from when you turn it on to when it switches, because the LG C1 OLED just will not switch right away. You need to give it like 4 or 5 seconds to kind of switch over. But other than that, dialing that in was fairly simple, a lot simpler than I remember it being back in the old Logitech days. So a lot has changed over the years. Don't forget, you have a 20% off code for the Sofabaton X1S at sofabaton.com. Use that code right now, as of the recording of this video. Get you this thing for about $150. So pretty cool. I'm excited to dive in. I'll let you guys know any quirks that I have along the way in the review. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have a Sofabaton X1S, if you use something else, what you think of this thing, if you recommend something else. I really want to know about it. Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next video.